right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome. We're a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 315, the show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on with the show, I want to invite you to subscribe to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at anchorlist_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at JakeSaw01. As always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Be sure to leave comments. Rate this podcast as you see fit, which means 5 stars. And as a reminder, this is a video podcast, so you can watch us over on YouTube if you prefer. So make sure you subscribe to that. And if you're new or if you've been around for a while, we thank you all the same. But if you want to thank us, we have a Patreon where you can support the show at $1 level. The Patreon tier is called the one and only $1 Club. You can head over to www.patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome. For $1 a month, you can become a patron of the show, and we will mail you a free die-cut vinyl sticker and give you a shout out. Welcome, everybody. And welcome, Jacob. How are you today, Mr. Peters?
I'm coming in hot, I guess. Do you like?
I don't even know what that means,
food?
but yeah, go proceed.
So sorry, it's a little bit of a pun. So I am a big fan of the tortilla chip and salsa, and it's just like a regular snack that I have around the house, where it's just like, oh, I need something a little sweet and savory kind of thing. I got a little jar of salsa in the fridge. I just throw a few chips at it and just go about my day.
Yeah, right.
And so I was on my way. I had to stop at the store because I ran out of shit to make for lunch, and I grabbed a jar of salsa. And they usually they didn't have the one that I normally get, so I got the hot version of it. And it's just like the Totitos brand. Usually I like their restaurant style salsa. I think it's pretty good.
Right, not an offensive salsa. Yeah, it's doable.
No. And then so I cuz I don't like my salsa being too cheeky. I mean, some of these salsas, it's like fucking just chock full of cilantro and all this shit, and it just doesn't taste right to me. So anyway, they didn't have the stuff that I normally get, so I got the hot one, which is like the chunky habanero one. Okay. And I'm like, like when you get name brand shit, usually hot is like in quotes, like it's not really that hot.
Right.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, how hot can they really make it if it's
for everybody,
a name
basically.
Brand, right? Yeah, it's like, what's the baseline hot for people? Usually not very hot.
And I'm not saying that it's the hottest thing I've ever had, but it's pretty fucking hot.
Yeah.
So like, but it's like in a doable way. I still enjoy it. But yeah, I had a little bit of that before jumping on the podcast here. My mouth is still feeling a little tingly. So
you are coming out quite literally.
Yep. Yes.
I like that. I, on the other hand, have started a diet. Jake, I get chunky in the wintertime. Everybody knows this. I've seen pictures of me with like the band where I'm like skinny as Gumby, and I'm like, when was this? And then I'll see pictures of me where I'm actually bigger than I am now. And I'm like, God, don't let yourself get to that. So I feel like I was on the wrong trajectory. So it's time. You know what I mean? So and it's really, if anyone who doesn't know how to do this, and I'm no expert, and so don't take this advice to heart, but the way I understand it and what has always worked for me is take in less calories than you use. If you do that on a daily basis, you should drop weight technically. I believe mathematically, scientifically, that's how the equation churns out. So I've been on a diet since Monday. I know the first couple pounds you lose is usually excess water weight, but I'm down 6 pounds, which is, some would say, unhealthy, in 7 days. So
That's not on. I mean, dude, you can lose fucking 6 pounds in one day just in water weight. So
Yeah.
it's really like, you know, I don't think that it's that.
Dude, if
big
I
of a
start
deal.
getting lightheaded and crazy, then we got a problem. But that hasn't happened. And for those who don't know, I like to run. I like to jog. Jake and I will talk about this once in a while on the show. And I know at a ripe age of 42, running isn't in the cards for me at my current weight. Not that I'm big, because I think when you compare me to most Americans, I don't look big, but I'm bigger than I want to be. So shout out to anyone trying to lose weight. It's a good thing to do if you need to. And my goal is to get down to around the 170s, which is where I was when I was running a lot. And it seemed to be the right weight for me. I am currently about 194. So I've got a ways to go, but I've done it before. My goal is to get running in March, mid-March, end of March. I think that's feasible. I've been doing a lot of walking, a lot of at work, taking breaks, my lunch, just getting out there, moving the body, you know. I think I'm good. I snap out of this really quick, and I have the willpower of, I don't even know, of an alligator bite or something. Like I don't let go. Once I start something, I don't stop. I won't release.
Your problem is that you need to work out year round.
The
You
winter's
can't
so
just
hard
work
for
out
me.
in the summertime. It's not hard, Fred. Buy a bike.
It's not hard, friend. Buy a bike. No, you're right. You're right.
You don't have to. I mean, you don't have to. You don't have to sit like buy a bunch of weights and do free weights.
Oh,
and
I
shit,
never done that. Yeah, I've never.
You could
done
probably you can get, dude, nowadays, especially with like Amazon and even like this bike that I bought.
that. Yeah.
Like just a stationary bike at home. You can get them so cheap now,
Yeah, I
and they're super low impact, so you can kind of keep that weight off without fucking up your knees and your hips.
Yeah, but I actually enjoy running though. I love to do it.
Oh, I do too. But it can hurt.
It can, yeah.
If you're not good, or you're not built for it, or you try too hard,
Or
right
you're a
off the
little
bat
heavy.
and
That'll
stuff like
really
that.
fuck you up, right?
Or if you're a fat ass, yeah.
Right. So this is the thing that I'm trying to get over. So I wouldn't call myself a fat ass.
No,
I'm a little
you're
big boned, as they say
You're fine
right now.
I mean,
Yeah,
everybody's got to have their own strategy, but for me, it's like the only way that I will stick to it is I have to do it all the time.
Well, once
Like, I
you
can't
fall
just-
out, yeah, it's hard.
So, and diet is obviously very important, and I try to, I don't cut anything out of my diet, but I try to make sacrifices here and there that sort of offset some of my more indulgent kind of thingies. You know what I mean? So, like, if I have like a, fucking Little Debbie cinnamon roll or something like that, that's like 500 calories or whatever, it's like, okay, but I play hockey today and I'm going to burn over 500 calories playing hockey.
So it's a wash.
like,
Yeah.
it's like whatever, but
Right.
it's just keeping it. Honestly, I think most of it is just keeping it in your consciousness,
Right.
and not just like eating willy-nilly and being unaware of what you're consuming. Like, I know a lot of people are successful simply by just having a food diary. Like, you don't have to maybe necessarily be super specific about what you are and aren't eating, but if you keep track of it and you see like, oh, this is what I'm bringing in,
Like, oh,
then it kind of
shit.
allows
Yeah.
you to be like, okay, well, I already did this, this, and this today, so whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's less like a matter of willpower and more of a matter of like, I just didn't fucking know I ate 5,000 calories today.
Yeah, right.
So,
well, the other
like,
thing is calorie counting works for me because it becomes a game, right? And I'm goal oriented, and I like to see how far I can take things. Like when I get it, that's just me. I like to fucking challenge myself. So if I'm not keeping track, there's no challenge. Right. So that's where my So yeah, there are really good apps for tracking these things, and like, it's not hard. I do this every winter. I didn't lose as much weight as I wanted to last winter. I think that's just my metabolism slowing down. And I had a foot injury from running. I need to get some insoles for sure. Speaking of which, last episode we were talking about how everybody tries to sell you something now, right? And you don't know what to trust. And I know your response is going to be, dude, just fucking go to so-and-so and do it there. But, like, I saw this thing, and this is by no means an endorsement, listeners. I have no fucking clue who these people are. But it's almost like somebody's listening to me. Because there is an advertisement that keeps showing up on my feeds, and it's for Upsteps Custom Orthotics. And they send you a thing that you step into, and it creates a mold of your feet. And then you send it back, and they apparently make soles for shoes for you. And once they have the print, it's specific to your feet. And I'm like,
here's my problem with that.
I wonder if it works. That's the thing. I don't fucking trust it.
It has to be somewhat successful. Otherwise, the company wouldn't exist. But like,
I don't know.
My big problem with that is that a lot of times, if you over, like for someone like that has flat feet,
right?
There is a difference between having anatomically flat feet and overpronating,
right?
And which is more of a weak arch kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And so,
not to be confused with weak ankles.
Like, right. Yeah. So like, I'm always curious about like if you step into those things, because I've gotten ads for those too.
Okay.
If you step into those things and it shows that you have flat feet, like when you go to the podiatrist and you're standing there, they'll look at your alignment to your ankles, to your knees, all the way up into your hips. Yeah. And see actually how they need to adjust your feet and how so that all of that lines up.
Right.
And I don't know does that translate in one of those
I don't know.
I don't know. You know what I mean? That's one of those things where it's like, if it works, that's awesome. That's such a cool, like,
it could also
thing if you don't have to do that.
Not to interrupt. I mean, and it could work, but is it the best solution is the other thing. Like, would you be better off just going to a podiatrist? I've talked to my doctor several times because I know I overpronate. I know that's my thing. I know it's what I do. And because I bought shoes that correct that. There was a brand of shoe, I'm not going to name them because it would be an advertisement, and we don't want to do that. But there was a brand of shoe that had these shoes that were very, very kind of adjusted for people who overpronate. And I bought a pair. And holy shit, the difference after a run. Like, it was perfect. Like, it didn't feel weird while I was running. Everything just kind of worked and lined up. So it wasn't even necessarily a specific insole that I needed for my feet, but more so something that was just generically designed to correct overpronation in the design of a shoe. And it worked, surprisingly. But those shoes are blown out. So, and they quit making them. So I'm kind of fucked on that regard because it was the best shoe for me. I
will say, though, if you go to a podiatrist, because I got insoles for my shoes, and I got running-specific insoles, and I kind of wish I didn't.
Really?
Because running-specific insoles are super stiff. And the way that they're designed to literally last forever.
Right.
Because they're for people that run like marathons and shit. And so what ends up happening is the volume that I would run with these insoles, they would just give my feet blisters and shit. Like I'd have to put baby powder in my shoes so that the insoles didn't give me blisters.
Do you wear socks when you run?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically what I would like to do is get them swapped out for a standard, like,
everyday
cloth topped like insole, because the running ones are like the top of them, it's almost like fucking leather. It's weird. Like they're really, really stiff.
Yeah,
like,
I'd have nothing
hard
to compare them to, but that's interesting. We're just a bunch of old geezers talking about PlayStation and feet problems. Yeah. That might gross some people out. But if you're a runner and you have any advice to give us, throw it our way. We know we have some listeners out there who might be active in that regard. So I'm not really a really long distance runner. I think like the longest I've ever ran was like 5 miles, but I'm a consistent runner, right? When I start, I do it almost daily, 5Ks when I'm back in shape. And I love doing it. Getting out, clearing my head, listening to some shit, and then just getting a shower and then approaching the rest of the day. It's so healthy for you, like mind, body, everything. Everything thanks you for it. So anyways, I do want to add one thing. We played in Lawrenceville, Pittsburgh last night. We played at One of My Land. No, not last night, but Saturday. We're recording this on Monday. So again, sorry, patrons. You're still getting the episode early, but not as early as you normally do. For anyone who doesn't understand the way this podcast works, the episodes air free for everybody on Wednesdays. It drops right at midnight. And the patrons get a link to listen to the episode early. So we don't promise that, but we try to adhere to it. Usually, historically, we have been getting them out over the weekend prior to the Wednesday that the show airs. But things come up once in a while, and we aren't able to always satiate or satisfy that. So for you guys. But this episode will be at least a day early for the patrons, so thank you. Where I was going with that, we played Lawrenceville on Saturday, One of My Land, and let me just tell you how weird it is, and this is probably maybe something a lot of people can't relate to, so it's probably not even a good topic for the show, or icebreaker, but Jake, I've been doing music for a very long time, you know this, since I was like 16, so we used to tour when I was 17 years old. We would tour the country. Mainly the east side of the United States, me and my friends, my first band, the Twerpentines. We would do shows, and we booked all this ourselves, and we would traverse the country, and we would meet new people, we make friends, and we would go out with other bands that were usually, historically, pretty much older than us. As we got older, we started another band called Signal Home. Signal Home went out and did a lot of tours. One of the most memorable tours we did was with a band called Last Tuesday. And Last Tuesday, this was like a 3-month tour, I think. It was really long. We were all over. We made it down to Texas. We were all over the place, just living in our van, touring. This is when Signal Home's, we got picked up by a label, and then our record was distributed through Sony. For those who don't know, we had one album, and then the label disbanded. And everyone signed that label got dropped. We quit as a band. But we had a really memorable tour with Last Tuesday. We did tour outside of that tour. We were out quite a bit. But that happened. And then, of course, I went and started doing solo stuff. And then I started up One of My Land with 3 members of Signal Home. And that is the current band we're in, with 3 full lengths out now. And we did a split. And then we have a 2-song EP, I guess it would be called. I don't know. But we played Saturday in Pittsburgh. I don't know if it's a bureau or whatever, Lawrenceville, at Lawrenceville Distilling Company. And dude, it was a reunion like no other. It was like, we played with a band called Pummeled. If you guys are interested, they're fantastic. They're from Pittsburgh. They're called Pummeled, which is a cool name. Their singer used to play in a band called The Vacancy back when the Twerpentines, back when I was 17, their singer played in this band. I don't know how many years ago that was. You do the math. I'm 42 now. So 25 years ago, I think, I made friends with this guy named Ben. He was playing the show on Saturday with his new band. And he looked identical. I have not seen him for about 25, 24 years. And it was like nothing had changed. His band was fantastic. We played. He had a shitty grin the whole time we were playing, right up front watching. Loved every minute. We both loved each other's sets. We're going to do more shows with Pummeled. They're great. They're a 3-piece, and they're one of the best-sounding 3-pieces I've ever heard. Their bass player plays in a band called Gloomer, Gloomer, which is kind of shoegaze rock and roll out of Pittsburgh, and they're really good also. So that's what's cool about music. So the weird thing is you have all of these really intimate friendships with people in other bands because you're out on the road with them and you're touring with them, and then out of nowhere, like, the tour's over and you part ways, and you probably don't ever talk to them again unless you tour with them or play another show with their band, right? We're just doing our own thing, but you get really close with these people. Another dude named Ben played in the band Last Tuesday, the Signal Home toured with. He was in a band on Saturday called Go for the Gold. And they are like a Fat Record style, tightest fucking live band I've seen in a long time. My God, they were tearing the walls off the place. They were so good. And my friend Eric played guitar for them. So they were two guitarists two guitars. Eric used to play in a band called A Voice Like Rhetoric, and Signal Home toured with those guys. I haven't seen Eric in forever, and since then he had been filling in for Pat and Anti-Flag on their overseas tours and stuff. Just filling in on drums, which is a really good experience for him. But he's always been musically inclined and super, super, super talented. And man, it was just like me, Ben, and Eric, and Troy, and all these old hats that like had so much history. And the show was great. Man, the show was fantastic. It was one of those shows that, like, there's no fucking stage, but there's a great sound system. And everybody just piled in, and bands were just playing the fucking roof off this place. And it was all good music. And it was so rejuvenating to be a part of something with people who I know have so much, for lack of better way to phrase it, skin in this game. They have so many horses in the race, the music race, and they're all so talented. And to be amongst the same people going through the same shit, just trying to fucking have fun and hold on to the things they love to do, was so nice. And it was a really good show, man. And if people weren't there, they missed out on a fucking great show. And this place is in a weird spot. Like, you go through Lawrenceville, and Charlie, no, you go through Lawrence. Sorry, he's smelling something over there. You go through Lawrenceville, and like you pass the Thunderbird Cafe, you're on that main drag, and you pass some other, like, it's that area's kind of been, I hate to use the word, but gentrification has happened in this area. Like, they've put up a lot of nice shops. There's a lot of, like, there's been a facelift to Lawrenceville. It used to be kind of a sketchy area. People still think the crime rate might be a little high, but you go through all of this, and I'm like, and I kept driving. I'm like, wait, where the fuck are we playing? Are we not playing, like, in Lawrenceville? And then, like, it was down this alley, and then way down this other thing. And then there's just Lawrenceville Distilling Company. And it was a cool spot. And I hope that they do more shows there. And it's really helpful to play places like that, because that place was, like, sending Instagram stories out and tagging us. Be like, oh, One Up My Land killed it, and stuff like that. So they have, I don't know how many followers, quite a few. So stuff like that is really, really fun and important to do in a band. We have rekindled relationships with other bands now in Pittsburgh, so I hope we get back more often. We have a show scheduled at a record store called the Government Center, which is such a stupid name for a record store, but I guess it's an awesome record store. And we're playing there with our buddies in Night Marathons, who are also from Pittsburgh. So I can't wait to do that. That'll be in April. So we are slowly working our way into that Pittsburgh scene, which is great for us because... yeah, I don't know, dude. It's wild. Like, I don't. These other bands we played with are so good, and it's funny. I'll tell you a quick funny story. If anybody knows our drummer Jim Stone, he's kind of a wild card. He's such a nice guy, but he absolutely always calls it as he sees it. And he was talking with the owner, and the owner's like, "What band are you playing?" And he was like, "I'm playing One Up My Land." And he goes, "Oh, the guys in Go for the Gold said you're the best band in Pennsylvania right now." And Jim said he just looked at the guy and said, well, he wasn't fucking telling you the truth. So we're humble to a fault, honestly. Like, we do what we do, but it seemed to be everybody really liked us, man. So maybe this new record has given us some traction that we don't even really fully understand yet. So this is good. This is good for us. That's my icebreaker. I don't really have anything else as far as that goes. So why don't I shut up and we'll get into the rest of the show. Every episode we talk about games that we're playing. The show obviously is no different. Jake, I gotta say this. No regrets whatsoever. No fucking regrets on this. I have not played much more Final Fantasy 16. But I purchased Helldivers 2. And if you didn't pick up from the title of this episode, I am in love with this game. This game is a beautiful thing. We've got news points about this we're going to touch on. Let me just tell you, oh my God, I don't think Arrowhead expected this game to pick up like it did. The original Helldivers I thought was successful, but I didn't feel like it had a huge fan base. So whatever they did with the promotion of this game, they've attracted a ton of people. And now we all know the gameplay of Helldivers, the first game, was not broken by any means. It was fucking great. And it was hilarious, and it was fun, and it was creative, and it was like all of the things refreshing for like a co-op game. However, it was top down. Now, Helldivers 2, you've heard us talk about on the show. This is a day one purchase. I bought it when it came out. I fucking jump in, and I'm doing some solo missions to try to figure this shit out. And I'm like, holy shit, this game is fucking, it is everything I want. It is so good. I can't even explain. It's impossible to explain how much opposite I feel about this than I do about Final Fantasy in regards to thinking about it when I'm not playing it. All I want to do is play Helldivers 2. It's all I want to do. Like, this game is so good. And the reason I say this, I will say it doesn't come without some launch issues for sure. It's cross-play, PC, PlayStation. Matchmaking was broken day one, day two. As far as like joining random people's games, it was a really serious issue. And I 100% guarantee it was because of the server in Arrowhead just not expecting people to buy this game up like they did. And it will be a news point, but to give you an idea, this game launched with more sales on Steam than God of War did. So this is...
Well, was it more sales or more concurrent players?
It might have been more concurrent players, but I also hear from Push Square that it's just flat out doing better than what God of War did. So I don't know. I'd like to see the numbers in a little bit, but this game is fucking gnarly. For those who don't understand the way it works, it's a 4-person co-op game down to 1-person solo. You can't exceed a squad of more than 4 people. There is not what do they call that chat? Proximity chat. There's not proximity chat, just regular chat within the squads. This is very Starship Trooper-esque. There's a fantastic trailer when you start the game up for the game, like a little intro. You can skip it, but it's so worth the watch. I've watched it a couple of times because it's absolutely hilarious. It's so good. And then you get to pick the name of your ship. Every Helldiver gets their own ship. And the way they make you pick the name is so clever. They avoid the possibility of doing crass stuff because they have a rotating wheel of different words on the left and a rotating wheel of different words on the right. And they have the blank blank. Or the blank, and then of is always there, and then blank. So the options for the name of your ship are like so impossibly various. Like, you know, you can just pick anything. Like you think about it, like it could be anything. Mine is called the Harbinger of Eternity, which I think is a fantastic fucking name. And every single one looks good. Like when you do the scroll thing, they're all badass. And I don't know how they do this. This is what you need to like make up a band name. Like all the cool words in the world, and then just like spin the wheel, and like that's what our band should be called. So, but I sat and I picked my name, and it's cool because any Helldivers that join your mission will see your ship name, which is cool. And you are the captain of your ship. They're inside the ship. There are different areas that you can upgrade. The purpose of the game is that this is 100 years after Helldivers 1 ends. You did ward off the threat, right? So they're coming back 100 years later, the critters, the bugs, and you have to stop them from getting to Super Earth, which is where you're from. So all these Helldivers sign up, you know, they get drafted up, they get convinced that this is what they got to do for their country. And the game is very difficult, but it's not. If you play it on easy or even medium, it's very doable, every mission, but it's always loads of fun. There's also a new threat, the automatons, which are robots that are also encroaching. Their missions are fucking hard because they can shoot. And you're like trying to like, it's insane. To break down the different things, your loadouts, well, first off, your ship has 4 hell pods, and it's essentially a sewer grate. You pick a mission from the map, you pick the difficulty, you walk up to the sewer grate, and your feet lock into it, and it sucks you down in, and then you, as the player, get to pick the drop point. Where are you going to shoot this hell pod down onto this mission map? And the maps are all procedurally generated. They're never the same. I will say some of the missions, the actual missions themselves, can be a little samey, but the map, the topographical layout of the maps, where the bugs spawn, where the exfiltration is, where the things are, all of the random like somewhat points of interest you can run into, all of the sample collection is all randomized on all the maps. There are missions where it's like you have to escort 15 or 20 citizens to safety. And it's really simple. You just have to do a couple codes and then 3 let out at a time, and they have to run to another destination, and you just got to make sure 20 of them make it there. So it's not like you escort them back to the exfil point. It's all in that area that you find. So it's really easy. There's not like protect these people for the rest of the mission, because that would be fucking impossible. So you don't really run the risk of AI getting in the way as far as friendly AI, because these citizens are on a lemming trajectory, meaning they follow a path and they don't stop, they don't try to duck, they don't try to run. They literally are going from point A to point B once you let 3 out, and it's your job to keep them from dying as a 4-person squad, which is really fun. So on the easy, but it always seems like it's kind of the same layout when you have that mission. But getting there, that's just a point on the map that you get dropped into. Getting there is a whole nother fucking story. You'll run into all kinds of fucking issues. And it's so fun. There's a really good ping system when you're down there with your squad. You can turn off matchmaking. By default, it's on, meaning you pick the mission. Anybody looking for a mission to hop into can jump into your ship. Helldivers is very sarcastic in a way that if you hold left on the D-pad, you'll do the Helldiver salute, which is just going like this to like the people in front of you. So like anytime anyone gets on my ship to go on a mission, I'll stand at the stairs. They have to come up, and I'll give them this. And everyone is dialed into this game. They always give you one of these back, and then they go past, and the next guy will come up, and I'll give him one of these, and all 4 of us will go, and we'll jump in our fucking hell pods. We'll pick the landing spot, and then we also pick the stratagems. So stratagems are these different boosts. Essentially, you're putting in, like I think I mentioned last time, like the Contra code or mortality code, like fatality code or whatever on the D-pad to access them, and they run on a cooldown. Now, the way it works in the game is awesome, because before you drop in, depending on which stratagems you have unlocked through collecting samples on previous missions, they become accessible to you. So also depending on what kind of mission you're going to run. If it's like a defend the flag mission where you guys just have to protect an area, you might want to bring down 3 fucking Gatling turrets and not worry about having like a missile strike, because missile strikes are more like regionalized. If you put down those fucking turrets, they're just going to mow down anybody that comes close to the flag. Of course, they time out after a certain time, but if you go down with the right gear, the game can be fucking great. But there's always an element of danger. These pods can drop and kill you. You can also use them to kill enemies. So if there's a really big bad guy, you can throw like a resupply for ammo stratagem down, and it takes maybe 15 seconds, 10 seconds for it to come out of your dropship. So you got to like kind of like line up, where's the enemy going to be when I throw this thing? It's the same with the air support. You got to figure out who's the enemy. Like if an enemy's attacking a squad member and you see an enemy like a bull kicking up like it's going to charge somebody, you might want to throw the fucking fire support down right on your friendly guy because you think it might time right, because you know he should be running. But there are instances where your companion or your squad mate like will fucking like not run or like go prone on accident, and then your fucking fire thing goes down and rains to hell and kills him. But then your squad has a limited amount of respawns, and they're called support stratagems. The support stratagem is always available until it runs out. So whether 1 person dies or 2 people die or 3 people die, when you throw that support stratagem, they all get called back. So you might not want to use it if only 1 person's dead. You might want to save it for when the next guy dies, and then you get 2 for 1. So there's strategy in this game. There are planets. So the way that the map works is just so fucking rad, dude. They fucking knocked it out. There's Super Earth, and then there's like a line, and it's like, imagine like a football, like a 5-yard line. Everything in between that 5-yard line, there's like 3 or 4 planets. 2 of them are accessible, and it shows the overall internet community pushback against the bugs, the terminites, or whatever the hell they're called. And those 2 planets that they have, there's usually 2. Those 2 planets have about 8 to 10 missions apiece. And those missions change every time you log in. But the system does track the amount of successful missions. And when you complete a mission, it contributes to the overall fight against the Terminus or the Terminate Night guys, whatever. So you might wake up one morning and find, oh, fuck, we pushed them back. Now I have new planets to check out. And the planet topography is like some planets are ice cold, which means you get stuck in snow. Some planets are dry as fucking Death Valley, and your weapons overheat, and your stamina depletes quicker. Some planets, there's no bad effects. Dude, you just get out there and like these planets, and they're beautifully rendered. Some have such dense fog that you don't even see the enemies when they're in front of you. And it's really difficult, but it's also absolutely like nail biting when you're trying to exfiltrate, and it's like Division when you call in like a thing to get your shit out, but it's like you're calling in a helicopter to pick you guys up, right? Pick up your squad, and then you're holding down the fucking fort, and everybody, you know, wants to be on like one fucking knee going prone and like trying to like fucking protect the chopper as it comes down. It's so rad. And I haven't played it with any friends yet, but my experiences are just fantastic. You can deck yourself out with heavy armor if you've acquired it. Another thing about this game, and I know I'm going on a long time, dude, I'm just so fucking jazzed. It feels good to feel this way about a video game. Another thing about it is there are some you can buy war bonds or blah, blah, blah things with real money. They are so equitable in how they've done this. Like for $2, you can get like, I don't know, $300 or something that'll give you a brand new skin and maybe some other shit. So like, it's not like, oh, pay $10 and get like one thing. It's like the way they have found, I think, a very fair and very good sweet spot for this. And the other thing is, you don't have to do that. There is no tier. There's no tier of thing that can only be acquired by using real money. All of it is in game, and all of it you acquire at a reasonable rate. So like they fucking knocked this out. Like everything about the shit, the in-game purchases have been. I haven't purchased anything, and I've gone through like 3 subsets of all these unlockables. I've upgraded my ship. I guess if you want to speed up some of that shit for yourself, you can. But it's genius. They've just made a fantastic game. All of the matchmaking is worked out now. They've patched it. They're on it. They've Arrowhead are doing a superb job. They're being very, very transparent with their player base. And because the game is so good, everybody is cool. Everybody's like, yeah, we get it. It's not a fucking big deal. Like, work it out. We fucking love your game. And like the community is so good right now. Oh, I can't even, man. It is so fucking good. Just the hilarity too. Like some of the Gatlin stuff that these turrets, they'll shoot at the bugs even if you're in their line of sight. So like, man, it's just so fun. Friendly fire is always on. There was a tagline that came up as we were diving to hell or down to a planet that said, "Friendly fire isn't." And it's so funny to me. They just fucking knock it out. Friendly fire isn't. It's not friendly because you're fucking shooting your squad mate. But Jake, I'm not going to tell you to get this game. I talked to your brother Josh. I texted him and I was like, dude, you got to fucking get this game. Like, I think Josh is okay with multiplayer games, and I think he would really enjoy it. There's no need to actually communicate with people, and because it's team-based, everybody has been... I have not had one bad experience yet with a squad of people. Like, everybody seems to know what the fuck is up with this game. Like, I've only heard of one issue that some people are doing, and it might be people new to the game, is they'll call the exfiltration ship prematurely, and if you don't board it when it lands, you have like 2 minutes to board it. If you can't get to it, let's say like some of your squad's stuck somewhere, or they still want to explore, and you're like, fuck it, I don't want to do that. I'm going to go call the exploration. You can still do that and fuck your squad over, and they get fucked like at the end of the mission because they can't exfil. So I guess there are some people, but that really could be just someone not understanding the way the game works. So I haven't had that experience, and I don't know why anyone would even really want to do that, because it ruins the integrity of the mission you run, and it screws up everybody's game, including yours. So the game is really thought out, man. Helldivers 2 is a fucking, dude, 10 out of 10 for me. Hands down, 10 out of 10. I have hours into it. I've got trophies. I only think about it. There are some cool videos of people playing this game because it's so easy to die. Someone posted this post. They're like, when you have heavy armor, protect your squad mates. And there's a move where if you double tap circle, you dive and go prone, and then you get into like the Ellie thing from Last of Us where you're laying on your back and you're just aiming and rolling around. So that's a thing in this game. So like there's some really movie-esque moments where like bugs will come and jump at you and you can jump out of the way, and then you're like caught on your back with your weapon up and you try to blast them and stuff. It's really cinematic in that regard. But this guy posted this post, and he's like, always look out for your teammates when you have heavy armor. And this Gatling, like he must have been fighting automatons, but this Gatling gun just started fucking firing, and he just shoots and jumps, does the jump, and just boom, just gets nailed by a fucking bullet and goes flying. Like the ragdoll effects are hilarious. They're not like terrible, but they're like not hilarious and terrible, but they're so fucking hilarious. And he just went fucking sailing, but it didn't kill him, and he gets back up. And he just keeps returning fire. And it's like, if you got heavy armor, you need to be doing this for your squad mates. And it's just like, it's so fucking awesome. Oh my God. There are jetpacks you can unlock. I ended up stealing somebody's drop because they died. And it was like some sort of like a protector pack. Imagine the pack from Death Stranding where it has like the little thing that goes like this. This thing had like an antenna on it. And anytime bugs would start attacking, it would just, it was a drone. It'd pop out of my back and it would just start fucking firing at the enemies. Like it was like a protector. Now, it probably didn't do as much damage, but it at least, number one, would warn me where the bugs are. And then number two, would probably hold them back a little bit more so they couldn't rush me as fast. I don't know at what point you unlock that backpack. Dude, this game is the shit. This is what everyone needs to be playing. I'm done talking about it. I don't know if I've convinced you to be interested in this game. LJ, I talked to LJ, and he said that maybe on sale he would pick it up. I seriously, 100%, I think it's $59.99. It might have been $49.99. I think it was $59.99. I 100%, if you're interested in anything I'm talking about, I recommend the fuck out of this game. Is it difficult? Yes. But it's not difficult that, like, you want to throw your controller, dude. It's so well balanced. If you're running solo missions, do easy or medium. Medium's going to be a really big challenge. If you got more than one person, you can probably do a medium level with 2 people. Anything over medium, you got to have a full squad. And you unlock the difficulty as you level up and unlock stratagems and stuff for yourself. But holy shit, Jake, this game. 20 minutes later, I can't go on enough about it. Whatever you have to say.
I don't actually need to buy it now because you fucking told me everything there is to know about it. So
you have to experience it. God, it's so good.
Yeah, it seems good. I'm glad people are liking it.
Oh my God. I wonder what the rating is.
I don't know if I'll buy it or not. Mm-hmm. I mean, it definitely looks fun, but there's a component of it that is just, I just don't see how you could possibly have the full experience with this game without playing it multiplayer.
Yeah, you got to have other people. You do.
So it's one of those things where it's like, that's just like like with LJ. Like if it was on sale, I'd probably pick it up just because I want to, support them, and I imagine that I would probably have some fun with it. But there's just too much other shit to play right now for me to pick up something that I might not be that interested in playing. I don't want to say I wouldn't be interested in playing it, but could be problematic from a multiplayer perspective for me.
You don't have to find people to play with though. They just show up at your ship if you don't close the channel, and then you just fucking drop in and play. And then you have help from random strangers, which is very much how the military works, I believe. You get thrown in with people you would have no business being around.
I get that, but there's still an element. There's still an element of the game where it's like, I want to just kind of fuck off and like go wander around and like do the things that I want to do, and like I don't want to have to worry about like, am I helping this guy sufficiently? Am I pissing these people off because I'm not doing what they want me to do? And like, there's like all this shit where it's like everybody has there's a common goal that everybody's trying to achieve and everything. Yeah. And it's like, you know, I totally get it. I mean, I'm sure it's great.
Dude, I'm on OpenCritic trying to look at their score. I don't see a score that they put on here for it.
I don't think really anybody has scored it yet because it's because of the way that it plays, and because it's mostly an online game and people haven't had a ton of time with it. And I know there was some guff about some like the servers, and then there was some shit people didn't like about some of the microtransactions.
Oh,
and
those are
so
fun.
like
yeah.
So I think that like it's just one of those things where it probably is going to take a few days for there to be like a decent number of reviews on OpenCritic.
And Arrowhead has said they're going to continue to support this game. So, and I know they did with the original Helldivers. They supported the shit out of that. So, with new content. So, I'm really curious. I mean, PlayStation Universe gave it a 9 out of 10. I'm looking at some of these reviews. The Game Creator, never heard of them, 8 out of 10. 8.4 out of 10 from Serial Killers. I don't know. But PlayStation Universe, they seem to be probably the most notable one so far. And they seem to like it. It's got a 7 out of 10 right now on Steam, I believe. But, dude, this game is it's picking up like wildfire. It's fantastic. It's fucking great. So that's all I've been playing, and I haven't played it nearly as much as I want to because I have to record this damn podcast tonight, or I would be playing Helldivers all night. I'm just fucking thinking about it, and I got to work overtime tomorrow.
Cool, man. I'm glad you like it.
Fuck.
And I'm glad that other people are liking it too.
It scratches an itch, I'll tell you that. And one last thing about it, you can't. They did something really creative with the aiming of the weapons, and you actually have more accurate shots when you're crouched and when you're prone. So they created a universe where every instinct is to run away, like walk backwards and shoot, but as you do that, you lose accuracy. So like you have to stand your fucking ground, and then ammo is also like not scarce because you can call down supplies, but they do something really creative too, and this is the end. I'll shut up about it till next week because I know I'll be talking about more. I don't know if you remember Helldivers 1, Jake, but I know you played it. But do you remember what they did with the ammo and the clips? Like if you had like 10 rounds left and it was a safe time to reload because it takes a minute to reload, like you have to weigh, is it worth losing those 10 rounds because as soon as I reload, they're gone? Or do I save those 10 rounds for my next firefight just to get 10 more extra shots and then risk trying to reload with the enemy approaching? So, like, there's all kinds of mini shit going on there. It's like, it's so good. I don't know, man. I fucking love it. God, it's so fucking good. So good. All right. We got a surprise at the end of this podcast, by the way, too. I have a surprise for you, too, Jake. I don't think you know what's happening, but it's good. There's no... Jake, what about games you're playing? Let's hear it.
So I finally beat Death Stranding. God, I'm like super amped now for the second game. But dude, Kojima's got to stop with this fucking Return of the King ending shit where it's like the game ends like 10 fucking times.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I just did, you fight, what's his face, Higgs. You sort that shit out, and they make it seem like, oh, the game is ending, and then like all this other stuff ends up happening, and there's this whole other arc. I'll be honest with you. When I got to the part where it's like...
You gonna spoil anything?
So, no.
Okay.
Not really. Not story-wise, anyway. But there's a part where you do this big battle, and you think that it's over.
Yeah.
And then it's like... And then you're like, okay, well... It's not over. There's this whole other thing that we got to do. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then they're like... But actually, in order for you to do that thing, you have to travel all the fucking way back to where you started the game.
Yeah.
And because of all this weird storm shit that's happening, you can't fabricate any tools to help you.
You can't do tools,
so it's like,
and then you can't fast travel, right?
You can't fast travel, you can't do any tools. You have to hope that somebody left a fucking vehicle for you or something. Otherwise, you're walking this whole goddamn distance. There's 5 times as many BTs. Like the BTs, there are areas where there's no BTs around, and then all of a sudden the big BT shows up out of nowhere and starts attacking you because it just like triggers in the environment. It's not like whenever you get drug under and then it makes one.
Yeah.
One just shows up. And like, I have no problems with like the BTs and the fighting and all that kind of crap. I don't know, man. I got to the point where I was kind of okay with all of the delivery stuff because you do unlock some tools that make it easy, and some of it is kind of cool, like running around and getting from A to B. Yeah. And the game is pretty and everything. But like, man, it's like it didn't need to be
as
like
long.
you didn't have to drag me through this over and over again.
Right.
Like I could have, you could have been like, after the big bad, or what you think is the big bad, it's like, now I got to do this other thing. It's like you could have just got me there. Mm-hmm. Or you could have at least given me the tools so that like wasn't that big of a deal to go back. And then like but dude, the story is fucking awesome. And like the ending is fucking cool. And so I'm really excited for the second game. I mean, even if it is more of the same or an evolution on the same thing, I will admit though the gunplay is bad in this game.
Yeah, it isn't good.
It's not good. But like those sections where you're fighting in the war zones where you're fighting like Cliff and his soldiers and all that, it's like I don't know. There are times where like you just like can't hit them. Like, I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's like the way that the reticle splits into like 2 pieces. Like it's fucking weird. But that said, it is kind of, I love the concept of like the blood ammo and like like you use your own blood in order to fuel your bullets, and like
that's
it'll kill
fucking
you
cool.
if you keep firing them. And then there's like the blood, you like fill up these blood packs that you keep on you, and if like as you use your ammo, like the blood packs will refill your blood, and like it's I'm not gonna lie, like the game is fucking cool. There is something about it that is just so cool. But once I got to so Sarah was watching me play the end of it. And you see credits in this game like 3 fucking times. That's another thing I hate about video games.
It's such a tropey thing.
It's not even just video games. It's like movies and shit. Like, I hate when they do that. But it's like... So, Sarah watched me play the end of it, and she was like, I don't know like if this is normal, but I feel like you've been watching cutscenes more than you've been actually playing the game. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of Kojima's style.
Yeah.
Like, between the big cutscene sections, there's a lot of gameplay. But when you get to like the story beats, there'll be cutscenes for like an hour straight with like little interstitial bits.
Yeah.
And so I don't really have a whole lot else to say other than there's a section where like after you beat the game, it drops you back into like the world 2 weeks earlier, and you can just run around and do whatever the fuck you want after that. Mm-hmm. Like, as soon as that happened, and it was like, but it posted as a new episode in the story. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I got to do this again? And then I just looked it up on my phone. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And they're like, it's just the end game. Like you can go around, complete missions, do whatever you want. And at that point, I was like, "Done. I'm out. I'm not playing any more of this. I'm not delivering any fucking packages for free." Like
I know.
I enjoyed everything about it, and I did some of the side quests and stuff. But you're not gonna get me to like struggle through like all of this backpacking shit for like 2 hours just to get like 15 likes or something. Like it's like I think that the game would have been awesome had he just reeled it in a little bit.
Right.
And I'm hoping that there's a little bit more focus with the second game. Anyway, I've been going on too long. But so since I beat that, I've been playing 2 other games over the weekend. I started a new playthrough of on the Sony, the PlayStation Plus Extra. You can get the PS4 version of South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Oh yeah, I knew you liked that game.
And so, dude, I fucking loved this game when it came out on PS3. It is not even kidding you. It might be the just pound for pound funniest fucking video game on the planet. And so I was like, you know what? Like, I was thinking about jumping into something else. I don't remember what it was. I think it was like Persona or something like that. But then I was like, you know what? I've literally been living in just the most dreary, fucking depressing world for like a month in Death Stranding. I got to play something that's a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
So I dropped into to South Park, and dude, this game is so fun. It's so fucking good. Like, especially if you have PS Plus Extra, and you're like, don't get me wrong, like it is super offensive, and there are like these sections in it where it's just like, it's hilarious, but you gotta take it. Like, if you've ever watched South Park, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking good. And then I've only played like 2 hours of it, but I started Immortals of Avium.
Oh yeah, right.
So
is that free or something or?
No. My brother and I do game sharing.
Right. Yeah, you've talked about that.
He bought it.
Okay.
Yeah, he bought it. So I downloaded it just to try it out, and it seems really cool. Like, it actually seems legitimately cool. So I'm excited to play more of it. The one thing I will say about it, and this is a problem I've complained a lot about on this show, but like, why is it so hard for these fucking companies to figure out first-person aiming controls? Like,
We've talked about
really
this.
don't.
Yeah.
The thing is that like, I think what it boils down to is how seamless is your auto aim. Like, I think that's part of the reason why Call of Duty and Destiny feel so good, is that they have this like auto aim that's so smooth that it makes you feel like a fucking boss, and it's not like snapping to the enemy's head or something like that. It's almost like predictive, kind of, and it kind of like eases you in and shit.
It's an interesting idea.
But the other thing is like, dude, why do all these games now by default have these enormous dead zones on the controller? Like, I fucking load into any of these games and I'm like, why can I not fucking control the look on this thing? And then I go in there and the dead zone is like 25%. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And I drop it to like,
it's not tight.
It can't be 0 because it'll drift, right? So, but I make it like just above 0 where it's not drifting anymore. And it's way tighter and it feels way easier to control. Like, I don't understand why this is a thing. Like, are they trying to cater towards people that just like are incapable of playing fucking video games? Or is it like, is there something I don't understand about it? Anyway, that's a bit of a digression, but I will say that like the world and everything and the presentation and stuff of this game is super cool. So I'm excited to jump back into it a little bit more and check it out. But that's really all that I've been playing.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're diving into some stuff and you didn't just take a breather.
Dude, I just saw today. I know I talked about it before, but like, I didn't realize that fucking Banishers Ghosts of New Eden comes out tomorrow.
I just threw in a quick blurb about the Push Square review that they gave on it.
And like, so, and I'm not going to play it. I'm literally just biding my time until Final Fantasy.
Right.
But there's just so much shit. Like, you know, like we said, Persona, Helldivers, fucking Banishers. Then, you know, then we've got like, obviously Final Fantasy and all this other stuff coming out.
I really think after the first quarter, it's going to slow down. I really think it will. I don't really see a whole lot coming down the pike, really, that I'm...
Stellar Blade comes out at the start of the second quarter. I'm going to probably play that. But yeah, it is slowing down a little bit probably over the summer.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Now,
well, let's move into... we don't have any listener feedback. If you want to write the show, you can. psisawesome@gmail.com, or just leave us a comment on our YouTube post, or head over to Patreon, sign up for a $1 a month patronage, and leave us a message there. Jake, the first news point, we're going to go right into news. First news point is about Skull and Bones. And I don't really have a lot to say about this, but I thought it was interesting. The internet always claps back on everything. And apparently there's a lot of clapback about the price point for Ubisoft Skull and Bones. They're charging $70 for this game, despite it apparently having a free-to-play roadmap. And the CEO of the company stated, it made a really stupid comment, but said that during a recent Q&A session, he says, "You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It's a really full, triple, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run." That sounds like a political talk to me. Just change your voice and say that is all I'm saying. The way that reads is just like, you will see that Skull and Bones is a very fully fledged game. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It's a really full, triple, quadruple A game that would deliver in the long run. It just sounds like you're trying to fucking sell something.
The most vastness.
This is the most. This is the game that has the most full, vast. In fact, we're gonna invent quadruple A on the spot and just say we're the first quadruple A game ever.
You've never seen a game this fast.
You've never seen a game that's so many A's is our game. But
there's no way. I mean, I hope that this game is good just because it's been in development for so long. Like I would like for it to do well, but bro, I mean, you can't, dude, you can't say that there's a free to play roadmap and then charge people $70 for it, unless I'm misunderstanding.
They're not calling it a free-to-play roadmap, but it has a roadmap that one would see that a free-to-play title would have.
Oh, that's more of like it's kind of like a live service strategy. I can kind of understand that. Yeah. I just think that it's one of these things where it's like, you guys had to have known that this thing was going to be put through its paces at the very least when it came out, because it's been in development for so long.
Right.
And it literally, when we saw that gameplay reveal of it, I don't know, it's like a year ago now, whatever it was, dude, it literally looked like a fucking a spin-off of Assassin's Creed 4, which came out 10 years ago. And so it's like, why should I be excited about this? Right. And I really want it to be like they should have like tried to, and maybe they did do this and I just didn't see it because I don't care about it, but like they should have almost angled it as like a Sea of Thieves kind of competitor, rather than being like this. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say about this game. I want it to be good from just the perspective of I want all games to succeed.
Yeah.
But I don't think that anybody fucking expects this game to do well.
Here's the thing. The developer and publisher have every right to charge whatever they want to charge, right? First off. If you want to fucking give the game away and hope that like you can make money inside the game, whatever. If you want to be game as a service, free to play game, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine. If you've got something that you feel when reviews hit, it's going to be off the chain, and people are going to be like, holy fucking shit, this game is massive and awesome. Now, let's be honest. Ubisoft is very good at creating content for the sake of just creating content and shit to do. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be fun. Doesn't necessarily mean that like you're going to want to do all this shit. You know, this is Ubisoft to a T. They create these really big worlds in their games, and then it's just like, oh, here's 5 bazillion things you can do in this game. Look how big of a game we made. And it sounds like this is kind of going to be like that. Now, whether or not the content that they've created for it is fun to experience and interesting enough to keep players interested is another story. However, on the flip side, we also have the entitlement of gamers going on, where it's like, you realize how much money and time Ubisoft probably dumped into this game? You just want them to give it to you, or you're upset that it's $70? Listen, if they don't have you, don't fucking buy the game. If you're upset about the price, that tells me that maybe you're interested. And if you're fucking interested, then maybe you should put a little money towards it. And if you disagree with the price, you disagree with the price. Wait for reviews. Don't buy it day one. You know, you have options as a consumer. So what's the fucking problem? Do you want to play a shitty game? Probably not. So wait for reviews. If everyone says this game's fucking top tier and awesome and as big as what they say, then fucking maybe it's worth your $70. Otherwise, sorry you got excited over nothing. You know, it's not what it shook out to be, what you wanted it to be. It's that simple. It's like they can charge whatever they want, and you don't have to give them a dime if you don't want to. So why is there an argument here? They're going to support their game the way they want to fucking support it. It's their game. It's not your game. It's their game. Let them do what they want to do with their game. It doesn't mean that they're making good choices, but for someone completely not invested in the title or in the game as a consumer, I feel like before the game's even released, how can you have such heavy opinions about something? It just seems crazy to me. So it's like this gamer entitlement thing where it's like the world entitlement thing. Everybody wants everything right away and for as cheap as they can fucking get their hands on it. Which is another reason why I fucking love Helldivers, because it wasn't a $70 game, and the in-game purchases are completely monetized in the most fair way I've ever seen in a video game for years. It's so fucking fair. Anyways, that's all I got on this. That's my rant. Jake, do you have anything else you want to add, or can we move on?
No, dude, they gotta get their money back, so they kind of need to charge for this game.
Yeah,
and I just hope it reviews well, and I guess we'll see in the coming days. It comes out this week, so we'll see what happens, and maybe next week we'll know for sure what's going on. I'll be really curious to see though, like next month or a couple months from now, whenever they release the sales numbers, if this game charts at all, because it could be that we're just in a bubble here and a lot of people are excited for this, and it's just like the industry people that are just like, what the fuck is this game? Like, it seems kind of weird. I don't understand. And like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's going to be great, or maybe it's even, might not necessarily even be amazing, but like it just scratches the itch that a bunch of people have.
Right.
You know, this could be a game where everybody shits on it, and then it comes out and sells 1 million copies in the first week.
It could very well do better than Suicide Squad, for sure.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, we still don't know how well Helldivers 2 actually sold, other than like the Steam concurrence or whatever. But like,
no, I got numbers.
Everybody was. What's that?
I got numbers on a news point here.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, before we jump into that, it was just like, everybody was like, what the hell is up with Helldivers right before it launched, because we had no previews, no nothing, right. Nobody said anything. And then it came out and it seems like everybody's fucking digging it.
It's fucking
so great. How can we even know anymore? Like, it's just one of those things. I think we're going to be in like from now on, it's just going to be, except for like huge bombastic releases like GTA and shit, it's gonna be like a wait and see sort of thing for every fucking game.
Touch and go. Yeah, it's gonna be the consumer, the responsibility of maybe getting out and checking the oil on the things that they're interested in. Where's the level at, right? Where's it at? The temperature check, you know? So, exactly. Very good, Jake. I agree with you. Helldivers 2 news. And I know I talked a lot about it, but I have a few more things that are more news related as opposed to my personal opinion. Arrowhead, developer Helldivers 2, has acknowledged that matchmaking issues with the game occurred in a PS5 patches inbound. I will say this, they were on this like very quick. So the crossplay functionality of the game, I believe, was the root of the issue, and the server overload. But also, Push Square indicates that almost 1 million copies have sold of Helldivers 2 in the first week, which is fucking awesome. Which means the more people play it, the more people are going to want to play it, and the more people are going to be talking about it. It's gonna keep selling. There's no doubt about it. This game is awesome. Also, the director of Helldivers 2 made some comments about monetization. There was an article on Push Square I want to touch on it real quick. Somebody, and I agree with this Twitter post. Somebody had written the director and just said, "I'm glad that you guys are continuing the trend of very fair and not predatory microtransactions in PlayStation multiplayer games. Quite happy about that. So many live services end up dying because they chase greed instead of fun and a big player base. I love this game so much." Their director writes back, and the director says, "You have to earn the right to monetize. I truly believe that. If you want to support this title, people want to support the title, they have an option, but we are never forcing anyone to do so." I'm loving this, and I'll tell you what I fucking want to see next. Will Sony go as far as doing a Helldivers Sony Pictures movie? Because I would fucking lose my mind if they made like a Starship Troopers kind of movie and it's this shit. It would be so fun.
It'd be cool.
It would be really cool. Or a series. It needs to fucking happen. I mean, we just got Masters of the Air, which is Tom Hanks and Spielberg. I think they're working on the B-17 flight crew on Apple TV, and I've been following that and watching it. It's fantastic. But what if you had a movie directed the same way that it's like you fucking sign up as a Helldiver, you follow this squad of Helldivers, and like throughout the episodes, what if it's episodic content? Like, this is the episode where Gary gets fucking mowed down by his own Gatling turret, by accident. Or like, this is the episode where like, the two members got separated and they barely made it back to the exfil, and it's just nail biting the whole fucking time. Like, are they these guys? Because the gloves are off. Anybody could die at any point. These characters you get to know and love, and that was what was so good about The Walking Dead, is like they were killing main characters every fucking episode, and you didn't know who it was going to be. I think there's a lot of potential in a Helldivers TV series, where it's comical and it's like very satirical about for God and for country. We're going to save Super Earth, but it's also like you get to love these characters because they're just so squirrely and like fun that like when they get taken out, like you're like, fuck, Vinny died. Vinny got taken out. Episode 3 of Helldivers. I'm so mad. He was the fun one. I related to him.
I mean, they could make like an anthology where it's just like random fucking stories, but like
there's so much potential.
I just think as long as it stayed super just fucking silly and also really gory.
Yeah.
Kind of like the trailers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it would be fun. Like it would just be a fun kind of TV show.
It would be a hell of a
or a movie.
Yeah.
Even if it was just kind of shitty, but like still hilarious. Like
I think it could be good though and hilarious. Yeah. But I know you mean.
I just mean like it's not going to be fucking Shakespeare. But
no,
like
very on the nose. Yeah.
A good comedy, like a satirical comedy or whatever, could be awesome.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, it'd be so good. So that thought just popped into my mind, and the two. We already talked about the God of War success, but just an idea of how Arrowhead's doing this right. They talk about shit in this transparent post that, like, maybe this is the one after this, but anyways, they said, like, hey everyone, they were posting on the Reddit for Helldivers. It's Mikhail here again. I want to give you an update on the issues we've experienced today. I'm happy to say that we've now improved matchmaking, fingers crossed, and the most frequent crashes. Let me explain where we are. We made a patch and are about to start playing alongside you to check, see if it works as intended. If it's a success, we'll trigger a hotfix and get it out to the Steam community first, then roll it out to PS5 players as quickly as we can. Thank you seriously for your patience. We really want you all to have a blast playing the game. Bear with us. We're almost there. See you on the battlefield soon, Mikhail. Which is fucking awesome. Like, their developers and their transparency and communication with their audience is fucking laser quick. And they are in the good graces of everybody despite some launch issues. So other developers take note. That's all. Just fucking take note. I'm not saying that every problem can be fixed right away, but they got this squared out pretty quick. And then we said it was Sony's biggest PC launch, bigger than God of War. So I think that was biggest launch according to the Push Square article, but I don't have it in front of me. But that's the Helldivers news. Again, I can't recommend the game enough if it sounds like something you're interested in. Next news point is about Toys for Bob, the developer. So they were the developer of Crash Bandicoot 4, and they are closing an office, and they were hit with a really big layoff. They were acquired by Microsoft, Toys for Bob were, and now 86 or so of their employees have been let go. The studio is going to remain active at this time, but this is the risk you can suffer with being getting acquired, by somebody else who can make these decisions for you. And it's kind of sad because I understand Crash Bandicoot 4 is really good, and they have a lot of talent there. So it's just a continuing trend of big layoffs in video game industry right now, over bloated industry, unfortunately, and people trying to cut expenses to increase gains. So kind of sucks. Did they do Mutant Blobs Attack? Who did Toys for... No, who did Mutant Blobs Attack?
That was Drinkbox.
Thank you. They also got acquired, right, by Microsoft?
No.
No?
No, they no.
I thought they got...
No, they just... They put a game on Game Pass. They put Nobody Saves the World on Game Pass.
That's what I'm thinking. Right. They put out a... Yeah. I knew there was some sort of tie-in with Microsoft with that developer. No bad news for them, though. Next news point. Unless you have something to comment on that, Jake.
No, it's just a bummer. Like they did, like you said, they did Crash, and then they also did that Spyro Reignited trilogy, which is the remake of the first 3 games. So, and they had some like PS1 games, and they did that Skylanders game, I think too.
Okay,
maybe so. Or they did something with Skylanders. I don't really know, but anyway, so that sucks for them. I know that there's been some backlash with Microsoft. I saw even somewhere that the FTC was complaining that Microsoft is doing all these layoffs right after buying fucking Activision, and how maybe they're questioning that maybe there's some unsavoriness going on there, but I don't know. I don't really care or want to talk about it, but it's just it just sucks that this is happening all over the place, not just within Microsoft.
Yeah. All right. Next news point is about Spider-Man 2, a game we haven't heard about much lately because it came out and everyone's pretty much beaten it and platinumed it, who pretty much owned it. But there is a new update coming to this game that's going to provide finally a new game plus, additional spider suits, and more. I believe the update's going to be free. I don't have any interest in going back to this. Jake, you?
No, I don't think so. I want to say the first Spider-Man game, I only beat it. I only played it the one time, and just because you can get the platinum on one playthrough.
Yeah.
And then I did the same thing. Miles Morales I played like 2 or 3 times because you have to play it. You have to play New Game Plus mode and some other shit to get the platinum for that. But the game was much shorter. I just don't know. That game was fun to play. It was really fun to play. I just don't know that I have any interest in diving back into it whenever there's so much other stuff that I could be playing. Like, I still haven't even finished the freaking Dead Space remake that I replay that I started, or play that I started.
Yeah.
So, probably not going to be for me, at least not in the near future.
Right.
But I'm excited. Dude, I wish that they would just give you New Game Plus at launch. Like, why is this a thing that you're giving me 6 months later? Because I'm not going to play it 6 months later.
All the studios do it. Yeah.
It's kind of annoying, but
it's asinine.
I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yeah, it is what it is. Next news point. This one's kind of weird, and I don't really even know what it means, but I thought it was good for discussion. There's rumors stirring around that all the Call of Duty games moving forward are going to feature an open world campaign. I don't know if that means that there won't be the streamlined, I don't know, like the straightforward campaigns or not, that we're used to getting in Call of Duty, like the level based. Or
well, I think that they commented that it will be more open world, akin to like a Far Cry kind of scenario, but that there would be linear mission segments in the game. So like
that could be cool.
Yeah, I mean I love Far Cry. So if there's a Far Cry, but like it's got the production quality of a Call of Duty, I mean, that could be really fun. It just really boils down to how much effort they actually put into the
execution of it. Yeah.
So
right. Well,
if they really do execute and they make it great, and I guess this new one that's coming out this year, what's it going to be called? Gulf War, I think, or something like that. I think the single player is being done by Raven, which is a really great single player studio. So I am actually really intrigued to see how this one comes out. And if it comes out good, I might play it, as long as there's enough material, enough content there for me to justify the purchase. Because it sounds cool.
Yeah.
And a game, and I don't know if we've ever gotten a game that takes place during Desert Storm, or at least not very many. So that might be kind of interesting.
Might be a touchy subject for some people. I don't know. I think it sounds cool. I think it sounds cool, man. All right. 2 more quick news points, and then we'll talk about the new games that came out this week, and then we will let you all go for today's episode 315. This one, Jake, we just talked about this game. We just talked about it because neither of us realized that it was released. And the game I'm talking about is Valiant Hearts 2. Valiant Hearts got a sequel. It was only available on Netflix somehow. Accessing the game became a challenge. The rumor is that it's getting ported to PS4 because it got a rating recently for PS4, which is music to my ears. I'm actually excited about this. Jake?
Yeah, Valiant Hearts, the first one, was fucking awesome. And so I really enjoyed it. And I don't know if I have the patience for a game like that nowadays, just because there was so much reading and stuff like that involved. It was a very passive game. I do think that this would be a game that would actually be pretty good on like tablet or phone, just because there really isn't like heavy gameplay elements. There's a lot of atmosphere and dialogue and scenery and letters. Like one of the cool things about Valiant Hearts was that I think a lot of the letters in the game were real letters recovered from World War One soldiers and stuff. So it was a very historical game, and I'm really curious about this one. And this would be a kind of game that would be a neat game to like play in bed or something like that. So I am interested in what this is going to be. And I guess I could do that now with like Netflix on my phone or whatever, but like I don't really know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Until I actually try and play it.
Maybe a good opportunity for the PlayStation PS Portal or the Backbone, for people who have that. Anyways, Jake, did we talk about the rumor of Microsoft games coming to the PlayStation Network yet on last episode? I don't recall if we had this conversation.
I mean, we definitely have discussed it in some capacity.
All right, so I guess the game list tends to grow a little bit. The Verge, which is a gaming website, I don't know a whole lot about them, but this is the first thing that came up. And they're saying that now the rumors suggest that the following games could very well appear on non-Xbox platforms. This is 4 hours ago. It says sources familiar with Microsoft's plans tell The Verge that the company is getting ready to launch a select number of Xbox games on PS5 and Nintendo Switch. Weeks of rumors suggest that Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and even Bethesda titles like Starfield and Indiana Jones could appear on non-Xbox platforms. If we get a fucking Indiana Jones that we didn't think we were going to get, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the game looks great. So it would be cool if we could get it. I mean, I don't know that we'll get it at launch. We might get it like, delayed release or something.
Time will tell.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see. I mean, they're supposed to comment on this, I believe, this week. So we might know quite a bit more by the time we do the next podcast. But I'll say what I said the last time is that even if it's only Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, everybody who is even remotely interested in video games, I believe, in a single player capacity, should play Hi-Fi Rush. It's so cool. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's like the best game ever made or anything like that. But it's so unique, and it's just out of left field, and it's not like a full price game, and it's very cool. So I highly advise everybody give it a shot if it does come over. But we won't know until we hear from them, hopefully this week.
Yeah. And I lied. One quick news thing. Reviews have dropped for Banishers Ghost of New Eden. And Push Square have given it an 8 out of 10, which is extremely good.
It's decent.
For a Push Square rating. So usually they're pretty judicial in the way they hand out these, pretty fair. I think an 8 out of 10 is impressive to me. So there might be some teeth to this game after all. I think their headline was something like, it's fun to play and the story's good or something like that. Along those lines, it's not it verbatim, but implying that the gameplay actually holds up and the story's great too. Fantastic storytelling. So I think this might be another sleeper game that might just really fucking take off if this is the first sign of reviews to come for it. So good on them. Cool. All right, let's get the new games. New games coming out this week. Give me 1 second. I'm just putting down the timestamp on this. February 12th, Arrowhead on PS5. We had a lot of games. February 13th, which is the day after we're recording this. Arzet, The Jewel of Faramore on PS5, PS4. Banishers of Ghosts of New Eden, PS5. February 14th, which I believe is Valentine's Day. Adventure Bar Story, PS5, PS4. Lords of Exile on PS4. I thought the game was already out. And then Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered on PS5, PS4. That's interesting. February 15th, A Little to the Left, PS5, PS4. Gunvolt Records, Chronicle, PS5, PS4. Plate Up, PS5, PS4. Small Land, Survive the Wilds, PS5. Spirit Hunter, Deathmark 2 on PS5. Survivor Man VR, The Descent, PSVR 2, which I heard is more of an experience and less of a game, about how to survive a plane wreck in the Arctic, which is interesting. February 16th, Skull and Bones, which we talked about on today's show on the PS5. And then The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3 and 4 for PS5. Oh, and lastly, on the 18th, Slave Zero X on PS5. So those are the games for this week. So a nice little list. I don't have anything else game related, but I do have one thing to say. For those who are unfamiliar with the old format of the show, we used to include music at the end of our show. I mentioned earlier there was going to be a surprise at the end that nobody knew was going to happen. Jake, you included. Our friend and patron of the show, LJ, plays in a band called Malingo, Malingo. They have a new album coming out, and there's no specific release date, but the album is coming out in April, and they're going to be giving out or putting out new singles into the world every 2 to 3 weeks. The recording quality is fantastic. They put a lot of time into this. LJ plays the bass guitar in this group. So give LJ a little bit of love. Listen to this song. If it's up your alley, check out Malingo. If it's not, maybe send some positive vibes his way anyways. It's always stressful to release a record and be a part of this process. So hats off to LJ. I'll put it on at the end of the show. The song title is called Say It Ain't So. Not to be confused with the Weezer song, Jacob. But it's a good song. I listened to it. It's done very well. And hats off to you, LJ, for being a part of a band that's creating and doing really cool stuff. And I know you guys get so, I've told you before, so many more plays on Spotify and shit than I've ever had. So you guys are way more successful in social media than we are. But hats off to you. And I hope the release goes well, dude. So for the listeners, make sure you check out at the end of the show, Say It Ain't So by Malingo, which is LJ's band. And that being said, I have nothing for closing, except I just want to tell everybody, have an awesome week. Enjoy President's Day, because that'll be the next holiday that happens before you hear from us again. That is Monday. I believe the 18th might be President's Day. I think that's the day. I don't know if it is. So make sure you enjoy President's Day, and for Super Earth, make sure you pay homage where it needs to be paid. Jake, do you have anything you'd like to say before we close out episode 315?
No, I don't think so. I'm excited to play a little bit more of Immortals of Avium. I don't know how well the game will hold up for me, but it's got my interest peaked for now, and I'm looking forward to what I guess like 2 weeks is when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out, so that'll be really exciting.
Yeah,
can't wait for that.
Yeah, very good. All right. Well, that's it for episode 315 of PS. This is awesome, a PlayStation podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. Come back next week and make sure to say hi. So, hold on, Xenogears, XCOM, and 13. I'll give it to you. PS. This is awesome.
There's not a lot of games that start with X.
The cascades, the evergreens grow tall. Didn't need a reason, just time in our car with our dogs and guitar to heat the mountains tall. Say it ain't so. Was it that long ago? Say it ain't so. Was it that long ago? Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. Was it that long ago? Oh, say it ain't so. I don't